Welcome to Action Talks. Frederica, we've looked a little bit about the sort of campaigns that Action's been involved in the past year, which include cybersecurity and other issues that you've mentioned. How does the year ahead look for Action Namibia? What are the key areas of focus going forward? And you've said already you're hoping there will be an ATI law in place at some point in the coming months. So where are we heading? Where do you think we'll be on September 28th, Right to Information Day? And Action's voice, is it going to become more widely known in this area of ATI so that people really develop an understanding of what access to information really is?
Well, I mean, I think if you look at what's happening in terms of governance, general governance in Namibia, and you look at, for instance, the political environment as well, then it's quite clear that the need for an access to information framework, formalized framework, is becoming more salient because of what's happening on our political and government scene. So what we hope to see is this bill next year on a parliamentary agenda. We don't foresee seeing it in the current session. So we hope to see it before September 28, hopefully. And then to have it become law and then to have it implemented. But there are other things busy happening as well that we need to be looking at. I mean, there are organizations working in fields that need information where we can assist them with information requests and guide them on how to go about requesting information and so forth. So we need to be reaching out to a broader constituency of organizations, civil society activists, people in rural areas especially. And then you have these other groups which we need to draw in and have discussions with them, spread the message of access to information, freedom of expression, and all the other related rights that come with it. Because of, you know, if you look at not just what's happening in Namibia, if you look at the region, freedoms are in decline generally. And it starts with freedom of expression. It starts with access to information. So we need to build a critical mass of interest and awareness and then a support base. That's what we'll be doing into the end of 2018.
Okay. So it can be said that the Access to Information campaign in Namibia is set in a fairly progressive context. Yes. In terms of Namibia being on top of the heap as far as press freedom in Africa is concerned. But yet there are worrying signs. And we've just come out of the SWAPO Congress, which has, I think, among the resolutions, advised government to proceed with the idea of a cybersecurity ministry, which can then also regulate or control social media. Can you speak to that a little bit? Is that something important? Is that something that's fairly threatening to the freedom of expression, access to information environment? What are your thoughts?
I mean, this speaks to for me, this speaks to a sort of creating a framework for surveillance abuse. Because what would be the role of a ministry such as that? It would be to police what people say, which means we're moving towards a sort of repressive. There's a very securocratic mindset that you see behind these things, where the security of state and politicians and their associates become more important than the freedom of expression of ordinary citizens. And how would you regulate something like this? Where would you draw the line between legitimate political expression and your fake news heckling and trolling and these sorts of things? So, I mean, the experiences from other parts of the continent and the world, they're not encouraging on initiatives such as these. They become about repression, ultimately.
And also switching off the internet,
exactly,
as has happened in so many countries of the continent and further afield, which there couldn't be a more effective way to actually silence people's access to information. Obviously, Action, one would think, will become involved in a campaign to ensure that a Ministry of Cybersecurity does what it needs to do in terms of that particular crime, but doesn't erode free expression as far as social media is concerned, that ordinary laws can cope with the excesses on that platform. Brilliant. What are your thoughts? I'm still sitting here with the problem that we can talk about access to information on a level and continue to do so. But I'm still concerned that that person living in the village, that nurse working in the hospital, that soldier serving in the army, do they really know why this campaign should be important to them as individuals? And to take us back to the Sustainable Development Goals, which, as I say, it's an incredibly important component of that, because it seems that all other rights are presupposed by the right to be informed or the right to know. What do you think? How does ACTION, and this must be a critical challenge for ACTION, how do you get that message across to everybody to believe in and to put their voices behind a campaign like this?
As the ACTION Coalition, we actually seek to grow our membership. So one of the projects that we have in line right now is to go out there to all the communities and to raise awareness about the importance of, one, being able to access information, be it information about politics, be it information about the economy, be it information about health and safety. People need to know this critical information because it is something that applies to their daily lives. So whichever sector one may be in, they need to have that information readily available for them. And as I mentioned before, they need to have this information so that they're able to make informed decisions about their lives.
And obviously that in turn leads to a more informed society.
Yes.
And I think it's generally agreed that we could do a lot more in that regard to really make sure that in a democracy, people's voices, or people are as informed as they possibly can be in order to make the right choices.